Okay, students, we'll discuss one more point today, that is built-in self-test. In last lecture, in last video, we have discussed about the design for test, and it is necessary to design all the manufactured chips. Okay, aim of the chip is that what is the aim of the chip? In last video, we have seen that that is it is to identify defective chip so that they can be discarded rather than they supply to the customer, and find cause of the fault and cause of the location of the cause so that manufacturer process can be adjusted to enhance our yield. So for that we have discussed about the different processes. There are different approaches we have discussed. That is, one of the approach is the fault model and fault simulation approach and scan design and scan border technique we have discussed. This we have discussed in last video. Okay, so we have discussed about this fault model and fault simulation, then scan design, scan boundary. So this scan design and scan boundary, it has some disadvantage. What is the disadvantage of the scan design and scan boundary? It will take more time for the testing, that is significant time delay to scan design and scan boundary. Okay, so in this it will take more time for the testing. Okay, so to reduce, our aim is that we have to reduce the testing time. Okay, for that additional method or additional approach is that built-in self-test. What is that built-in self-test? It is an additional circuitry and it is a part of a system. It is a additional circuitry inbuilt in a chip. Okay, what is the advantage of this? Advantage is being a embedded system. It is embedded in a system. It is embedded in a system and it can generate test vector at a full speed. Mean operating speed of this built-in self-test, it is as good as our speed of our chip. Okay, hence it will generate all the test vectors of full system speed. Okay, and hence it will reduce the testing time. But what is the disadvantage of the system? So disadvantage of the system is that it is a part of the system, it is a part of system and it will take area. So the area will increase, area is larger of chip, so area overhead will be more, but however the cost may well compensated for the reduced testing cost. Okay, as the testing cost is reduced, testing is inbuilt, testing will be faster and it will compensate the area cost. Okay, then there are two main aspects of this built-in self-test. Okay, two main aspects to consider when designing built-in self-test implementation. So we have to implement this circuit into IC. So then what are the two aspects? Okay, there are two aspects. First aspect is that how to generate the test patterns, and second aspect is that how to analyze the output response determined by the test pattern, that is whether the response is correct or not, we have to check it. Okay, so for that purpose, first part is that we will go for the first part, then how to generate the test patterns. So to generate test patterns, we will go for the pseudo random test pattern generator. So to generate test patterns, we have to go for the pseudo random test pattern generator, and this pseudo random test pattern generator, it will generate true random sequence. And this pseudo random sequence can be repeated a number of times and it will start from a given point, and that given point it will called as a seed. So it will generate all the test patterns. So and it will start from the seed point and it will repeat number of times. It will generate from the seed point and it will again come to the seed point. Okay, so one common approach of the generating random sequence, pseudo random sequence, is that linear feedback shift register. It is a linear feedback shift register. It is a simple hardware circuit. It has a simple hardware structure. Okay, then we'll see what is the linear feedback shift register. So linear feedback shift register, as shown in the figure, it is a 4-bit linear feedback shift register for generating pseudo random test vectors. So it contains 4 registers, that is 4 D flip flops here. Okay, 4 flip flops, and it will have XOR gate. It has preset input. So to set the starting point, so we have to apply preset is equal to 1, so that all flip flops are presetted to 1 1 1 1. Okay, so this is the your starting point. This is called as a seed, and its starting point is 1 1 1. And after that, with every clock signal, it will change the sequence, and this sequence are not in sequential, it is a random sequence. Okay, so at one first is seed point, starting point is 1 1 1, then next is 1 0 1 1. You can analyze this circuit and you will get the same pattern, that is 1 0 1 1. Okay, so for every clock cycle it will going to generate all the sequences, and lastly again it will come to the original point. That original point is 1 1 1. Okay, so if we observe this, all the possible sequences it generated, but except 0 0 0, the pattern is not generated. So this FCR, it is not generating 0 0 0 0 output. Okay, 0 0 0 0, this output is not going to generated by this LFCR. Then what is, so most of the times we require this 0 0 0 pattern. Okay, and we require that. So for that, what is the solution for it? So solution for it is the complete feedback shift register. So another technique is that to generate random sequences, pseudo random sequence, it is generated by the CFSR. Okay, so the diagram for the CFSR, it is as shown in figure. So 4-bit CFSR for generating pseudo random test pattern vectors. It is at like this. It is again same as that of LFCR, but some modification is there. Into that extra one AND gate, bubble AND gate it is, and XOR gate is there added. So depending upon the position of the XOR gate, we will get the characteristic polynomial for the LFCR or the characteristic polynomial for CFCR. Okay, so hence we will get this type of all the patterns we will get. So it will again, it has preset, it will start from 1 1 1 and it will move likewise. And if we see here, all the test patterns are there, all the possible test patterns are there, including 0 0 0 here. Okay, so it will include 0 0. Okay, so it is a random test pattern generator. Okay, in this way we can generate all the possible test patterns. So then next question is, our first point is that how to generate test patterns. We have completed. Now second question is that how to analyze output responses, that is whether the output response is correct or not, so that circuit is working correctly or not. For that purpose, how to analyze the output response. So for that we will go for the various approaches is that. So we can analyze the output response of the circuit to the test pattern, but so we have to store the output generated output response. So we require the larger storage area, and to store this larger storage area, so it will take more circuitry. So overhead of that is more, but we have to avoid like this. Okay, instead of this design, we have to pattern, we have to design a device. Instead of that, design a device compacting the expected output response and the circuit output response. The expected output response and circuit output response, it should be compact. Okay, such a design we have to do. We have to devise a circuit. Okay, so for that purpose, what are the requirement of that device? It should have less storage and less comparison hardware. It should have less storage, it should have less comparison hardware, though at the cost of the circuitry. To compact the circuit output, it should have compact the circuit outputs. So for this, there are various approaches, or there are various scheme for the output response compaction. So we have to compact output responses, but the commonly used is a signature analysis. So we'll see what is the commonly used signature analysis. See here. Okay, so the multiple input signature register, it is a commonly used. Then what is the signature analysis? Signature analysis uses the technique related to LFSR. It uses the technique related to LFSR and the same mathematical theory used for it. The signature register forms a summary called as a signature of responses of the sequences. Signature analysis, it uses same mathematical, and signature register forms a summary called a signature of responses of a sequences. Okay, and this figure shows the multiple input signature register. Okay, it is a 4-bit MISR. Okay, so it is again same like your LFSR. Okay, so the same technique is here. There are 4 inputs are there. These are the 4 data inputs or responses generated here, and that we need to apply here, and it will generate the response of the output here, response here. So LFSR generates the pattern, and signature register stores the response analysis of the circuit without fault. Okay, signature analysis register, there is a signature analysis register. It stores the responses. It stores the responses of the analysis of the circuit without fault. So that is correct response is generated into correct response is stored into the signature register. Okay, response generated by the circuit under test. Is compared. Okay, response generated by the circuit under test, that is data inputs, it is compared with the correct response for a particular sequence generated by the LFSR. Okay, if the comparison of the both responses is correct, then circuit under test is working okay, or otherwise the circuit is faulty. So this is the simple technique it is used to generate a response. Okay, so this is about your multiple input signature register. Okay, so that's all about the built-in self-test. In the built-in self-test, we have discussed about what is the requirement of the built-in self-test. There are 2 main aspects of the built-in self-test, that is how to generate the test pattern and how to analyze the output response. So there are 2 techniques to generate the random test patterns, that is LFSR and CFSR, and we have discussed about how to analyze the output response by using multiple input signature register. Okay, so that's all about today's video. Okay, if you have any doubts, then you contact me on my WhatsApp number. Okay, so today we will stop here. Okay, thank you.